Hello, I'm James Helder, and as always, this is not for the news. I'm joined by my esteemed guests, colleagues, and friends, Leon Knight, Curtis Woodhouse. Gentlemen, how are we all doing? You all good?
Yep, all good, mate.
Love that. What are you saying, Nighty?
All good.
Geezer from Home Alone's phone. He wants his hat back.
He looks like he's just come off job.
That's me. He's been plotting and planning.
The January bills different.
The bills are hitting different, I'm not going to lie. Speaking of plotting and planning, who would have anticipated Mikel Arteta and Eddie Howe battling it out after Christmas at the top of the Premier League?
What? What the fuck?
It's unbelievable the way things are playing out. Well, what was your take on it? Straight to Nighty on this one.
I just thought it was disappointing, to be fair. Arsenal has been top of the league for a while now. Nearly a full season, right? And these are the games that you have to win, just to show and to kind of like put Newcastle in their place. Kind of, we're the top boys around there, and you're on our home patch, and you're not coming in and getting anything. And we didn't do that. And it was disappointing. And I think that's why we can't win the league. Like, City can go to Chelsea and get 3 points.
They grind it out.
They can get 3 points. Us, I think when it comes into them top 5 or 6 club games where we're playing United, City, Chelsea. I know we beat Chelsea earlier on in the season. And now Newcastle, I think we struggle. I think the rest of the league we've got to grips with and we can beat. But them games there, we struggle, and I think that's just going to be our season, to be fair, and we'll just miss out on the league. I think second or third with close points in between third and first, and we'll get a Champions League place, and that would just be it. I think that really told me a lot the other day.
Let's be realistic.
Wait, because Curtis, if you're top of the league at your club, you got a team spent big money. We're not saying, the money that they've spent, but, we're playing you're at Sheffield United or whatever, you're top of the league. You've got like Plymouth or someone, and they're up behind you or whatever. And you're just thinking, when you're in that change room, you're thinking, these are not beating us today. 100% not. I didn't see that in the Arsenal players.
I look at the City game the other day, and for me, the big difference is, Arsenal struggling for a goal. You look at the bench, and then you look at what City did the other day at 0-0. They brought on Grealish and they brought on Mahrez. Grealish passed the ball, Mahrez taps it in on the back stick. So the two changes that they made set the goal up. Arsenal haven't got that squad depth yet. Arsenal's starting 11 as good as anything in the league. But once you start dipping below them 13, 14 players, they haven't got them game changers to bring off the bench. And I think the other night showed that Eddie is probably a sub right now. He's a good player. He's got great movement. I think he's going to be a good player. He already is a good player, but he's not the main man if you're going to win the league. They need somebody up there. And I think when you're up there, I think if Arsenal don't invest in the squad now, they could come back in a few years' time and look back and think, we had our moment.
Enough is enough.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're probably better off spending 100 million now than 100 million in the summer. If they can identify the players to get in, go and get maybe two £50 million players.
The player that we was really hunting is Mykhailo Mudryk, as we've expected and anticipated. He's been putting out Drake songs about Arsenal on his Instagram posts. He's been liking every comment that links him to the club. I just feel that Arsenal won't be held to ransom for 100 million for one player of 22 years of age who plays for Shakhtar Donetsk. I can't blame Arsenal. As much as I want Mudryk to join the club, if we break the bank on him like that, where does that leave us for future targets? Where does that leave us for going forward with recruitments? That'll be all the money from January. My only concern is if we lose Partey or Xhaka, have we got the midfield cover? Is Nketiah strong enough to hold it without Jesus?
Nope.
So these are questions that, against Newcastle, the answers weren't the answers that we were looking for. Let's be brutally honest. Elmany, for me, is not on the level. And Eddie Nikita is still work in progress. So if Arsenal are to push for this title, they've got to spend money in January and they've got to do it quickly. Okay, they must do it quickly.
And they're not going to. Let's just be point. Like, do you know what I mean? I think, the Pepe thing stung them a little bit.
100%.
Where they don't want to go out and do that again, and that falls on his face. I'd say not unproven, but the league he's in. He turns up in the Champions League now and again or whatever, but the league he's in, is it a tough enough league that you can say, okay, it justifies spending 100 million euros on one player? I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's anywhere near proven. For me, it'd be a massive gamble if they spend that money. I think they do need to invest, but only if the players are there that are going to make the starting 11 or the first 14 or 15 players stronger. If that Module, whatever his name is 100 million, for me, if you're paying half that, then yeah, but he's not a £100 million player. He might end up being, but he's not proved it yet. He's nowhere near it.
I won't even pay 80 for him, mate.
Yeah, I'm the same. For me though, if Arsenal are a big club, now's the time you start acting like a big club. And big clubs right now invest if they need to.
Let's go and get Yuri Tielemans. Contract almost run out. Let's bring him to the club now. Let's pay the money in January and test Leicester's resolve.
1,000,000%.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I agree.
I've said this as well. It makes a lot of sense. He's coming from the same league. Do you know what I mean? He knows everything. He don't even have to hit the ground running. He just has to slip in and play. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he'll be around better players. So hopefully that brings a better, better performances out of him. But you can probably spend half of that, what Shakhtar are asking for, and get him.
If you went and tabled 50 million now for Tielemans, Leicester can't turn that down, knowing he's on a free in 16 weeks' time.
No chance. But Arsenal are the kind of team that will wait until he's on a free.
Yeah. But that doesn't help us this season. I know at the start of the year, if someone would have said to us, Arsenal will finish third, we would have bit their hand off, wouldn't we? Let's be brutally honest.
Yeah.
We can't get too carried away. We're trusting the process. The process just puts us at top of the league at the moment.
But again, though, once you're in it, and Arsenal are absolutely in it now, for me, if you're a football club and it's a forever changing cycle.
Yep.
You'd have taken third at the start of the season, absolutely. You're top of the league now. So act now. Change the plan. Tweak it a little bit. If you're going to have 200 million next summer to spend, take that 200 million down to 125 and spend 75 now. For me, you have to take this opportunity now.
Arsenal.
I'll make you 100% right, mate.
It's there to win. They can win it this year. They can win it.
Trust me. You lock up on a couple. Arsenal only need about 2, 3 players.
Yeah.
And as long as they're the players that are midfield and a centre forward, or a forward player that can score goals either each side or whatever, or down the middle. The leagues, you can get the league, mate.
I agree.
Now, I predicted the draw at Newcastle. I love to blow my own trumpet when I get things right. I also predicted Graham Potter being the second coming of Mourinho. And I think I've made a bit of a schoolboy with this one. It's not quite working out how I anticipated. 10th in the league, Chelsea. Let's have it right. They weren't in the game against Man City. Is Mr. Potter on borrowed time? Could he be on his way out of Stamford Bridge before the journey's really started? What's your
any other club, I'd say no chance. But Chelsea just act differently, don't they? But if you look at the players that Potter's not got available, his injury list is obscene. So I think it's very harsh to judge him right now. I still think if he's given the time, he will prove to be a good manager. But on the flip side, if you said to me, mate, this job looks too big for him. He's dealing with big personalities at Chelsea, World Cup winners, Champions League winners. He's never had to deal with that before. That's an argument I'd struggle to fight against because it's the truth. But you look at the amount of players he's got out injured. That Chelsea team's not a great team at the minute. And, he's a manager, he sets them up, he's chopped and changed. But he's never had a settled team because of injuries. I think we've got to give him time. I think if he gets sacked, if he was to get sacked by Chelsea, say, in the next, 28 days, I just think it's a dagger in the heart for every young British manager coming through. He's got a chance. I think everyone should be behind Potter. Every British person interested in football should be behind Potter because we want one of our own to be, doing well at a big club and showing that, hey, British coaches, we can do this as well.
Bang on. Yeah, bang on. I agree. I am wishing him to do well, but Chelsea have sacked managers for a lot less.
100%.
The criteria of keeping your job at Chelsea, it entails winning matches no matter what. Sentiment is not high on the list of priorities at Stamford Bridge, let's be honest. Nighty, what's your take on it?
I just think, like Curtis is saying, he's had a bad run with selections and stuff, and obviously the team ain't clicking. Do you know what I mean? Signings that have come in, Sterling and stuff, they ain't it ain't really on fire for them. It's kind of like it's like dragging a little bit. Do you know what I mean? It's not flow. It's not a flow. There's no flow within. And like you said, it could cost him his job. I don't think it will. I think Chelsea would give him a little bit of a time because, new manager, he ain't really he ain't brought anyone in really. Like to say off his own back, I want him, I'm going to sign him. I mean, this is the first transfer window what he's had to bring in some sort of players. How long's he been in there? A few months, 5 months or whatever? Like, you've got to, come on, man. You've got to give him a little bit of, slack.
Chelsea should go and get. Obviously, I know he's in a bit of a difficult situation at the minute, but for me, Chelsea should be going to get Ivan Toney. They're desperate for a centre forward, a focal point. They've got who's your man that they're playing up front?
Curtis, I think they'll do something like that. With Potter in charge as well. I think if not this transfer window, summer, they'll do something like, like you said there, Ivan Toney, bam. And he'll try, that's the kind of striker. They tried to bring that in with Lukaku and it didn't happen. But I think you're right. Ivan Toney or somebody along that stature is the right kind of player to.
Because I think an Ivan Toney instantly improves a Raheem Sterling because he's got someone to bounce it off. It improves Havertz, because Havertz likes to play in the 10 off somebody. They haven't got a focal point to anything they do. So they're desperate, in my opinion, for a centre forward badly. A number 9 who's just going to play between the link things, hold it up, and bring all the other players into it.
Do you know what?
I think they'll give him time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think they'll give. I hope so as well. I think they give him time, and I think he will get a pattern of play, and he will get the boys up and running, and there will be a force again. But at the moment, you know how it is, man, Curtis, man. New gaffer comes in, it takes a little while, like, do you know what I mean? It takes, you got to buy into his process and his way of thinking, and do you know what I mean? They're probably still getting used to him now.
Yeah, and you know what as well? I bet there's a few of those players he's gone in there and thought, wow, you're not better than the players I had at Brighton.
Yeah.
They'll be on big reputations, probably 5 times the money. I bet he's thinking, wow, you lot are not.
And this is what I'm trying. This is what I'm trying to say. Brighton gave him time. He brought in his own players. Some of the players we didn't even know where they was coming from, but he knew the puzzle that he was fixing together, and he got it together, and they was a force. No one can't tell me that Brighton at before he left, You didn't want to play them.
I'm not being funny. What the fuck is going on?
No, they were dangerous. Nobody in world football has recruited better than Brighton over the last 5 years.
No,
Their
no,
recruitment-
no.
58 million for 8 players. Okay, that included Cucurella and Ben White, which
Yeah.
was
But this is,
fantastic money. And they've got 6 more that are probably worth, if not more than those.
but
Yeah.
this is what I'm trying to
58
say.
million, it's an incredible scouting network managerial process.
But this is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say he's at a bigger club. There's a transfer window open. Give him time to,
Makes sense.
do you know what I mean? Give him time to build his puzzle. Like they gave him time at Brighton. He can do the same thing. Remember, he's got a bigger checkbook now.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? And they're a 10 times bigger club. Yeah. They've got all the resources that available. You give him time and you give him, the money and the freedom to buy who he wants to buy. Yeah. I think Chelsea will become, again, champions of Europe and stuff and whatever. But like I said, you have to give him time.
Well, if you look at where Chelsea are now, I look at the team and you go through the teams of, and I know we always do this on this program, but we go back to the era that we played. Like, Chelsea's midfield was Lampard, Essien, and Ballack. They had Drogba down the middle. They had JT at centre half. Chelsea have always, for me, had that big spine, 6'3" powerhouses. And you look at them now, I'm like, oh, look. Your man at the back was ridiculously good. The Brazilian, he's about 50 years of age now, but he's so good. Silva, wow, what a player he is. But apart from that, I look at that spine at Chelsea and I'm like, it's very flaky. It reminds me of Arsenal 5 years ago.
Did you do this for a hobby? Fucking annoy people.
Where it's just really, really flaky. I think there's probably Chelsea have probably got from 10 to 15 players that need to go.
Wow.
I think it's a big clear out period that needs to happen at Chelsea.
And that's why I'm saying you have to give him time to get out who he wants to get out and get in who he wants to get in.
While we're on people getting time, how much longer will Frank Lampard have at Everton Football Club?
And it's gone.
They're currently languishing 17th in the Premier League. The new ground's being built. Will Frank be there long enough to manage the team at the new ground? I'm guessing is the question. What is going on at Everton Football Club? What is going wrong? They've spent big money over the years. If you look how much money they've outlaid for what they've got back, it's a bit of a travesty, if I'm being brutally honest. What is going on at Everton Football Club? 90.
I'm up here and, you jump in a taxi. First thing they ask you, you're a red or a blue? And I tell them I'm a red, but I'm Arsenal or whatever, that and the other. Oh, I'm a blue. Then you get to talking to them, shit, and blah, 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 and this, that, and the other. And you're just thinking, Everton have been just underachieving for so long. Like you're saying, James, they've spent money, mate. They've spent big money, mate. And they just don't seem to get nowhere. I don't know what it is. And no matter who they bring in, the best manager they've ever had is Moyes, probably. If nobody else can seem to come in and do a job. And I don't know why that is. It's just like they just live under this cloud of Liverpool all the time. They can't get out of the cloud. It's just unbelievable, bro. And they're a big club. Regardless of what anybody's saying or where they're sitting in the league, I live up here. And they are a big, big club. You find more, Everton supporters than you do actual Liverpool supporters.
Yeah.
The thing is, we just spoke about Brighton's recruitment then has been the best in the world. Everton is probably the other end of the spectrum. The amount of money that they've spent, they're up there, probably in the top 5 or 6 spenders. And you look at the dross that they've brought into the football club. How many of them players? I think I seen something the other day. I think Leon Osman posted something the other day, and I think it was over £300 million. No one. It was Danny Murphy posted something. I think it was £350 million worth of players that they brought in, and how many of them have actually done any good? And I think there's like 2 or 3 on there. Everton's recruitment's been really poor, horrendously bad.
But you know what it is? They always are picking up these dead ends. Like players, they're always picking up these dead ends. Like, I don't know why they're doing it. I don't know whether it's being in Liverpool and Liverpool Football Club, and the bigger players would rather go Liverpool than they would come to Everton and stuff like that. But how they just say, fit things together and got a nice, run and a team and a squad going or whatever, I'd never know, mate, because the support they've got.
Yeah, madness. But again, I think a big thing on that is the amount of times that they've changed managers. Yeah. So the football club has gone from one philosophy to another philosophy.
Yeah.
So the recruitment has never been, the recruitment's all over the place. Where you look at, I'm using Southampton as an example now. They recruit a certain type of player, and then the manager comes in, and they're always a certain type of manager as well. Maybe a bad example because they're bottom of the league, but with the budget that they've got, they've had to do it that way. Whereas Everton has just been a complete mishmash of players, mishmash of managers. A new manager comes in, they want a player that's like X, Y, Z. Then they bring someone else in who's a complete other end of the spectrum. And the recruitment has been all over the gaff. There's been absolutely no plan of what Everton Football Club is actually trying to be.
Do you think they need a blueprint? Do you think they need a blueprint of what types of players that they should be signing regardless of the manager?
100%.
For Arsenal, everyone Arsenal sign has a resale value.
Yeah.
We're not looking at players 30 and upward. And that's been like that since the Wenger era. I know we had our little bit of dross moments ourselves where we're chucking in Willian and Gallas and these other players that pass their best. But on the whole, it's the resale value. Is that where Everton are going wrong? Because they are, like Curtis said, they are in real danger of being relegated this season. The 4-1.
And if they get relegated as well, that's it. They're finished.
But 90, if they go down with this team, that team that they've got now doesn't come straight back up either.
No, but which is what I'm trying to say. The team, they buy players that I think they're better than what they are. So they wouldn't want to be playing in the Championship. Mm. On top of, they probably wouldn't get out the Championship. Yeah. They wouldn't want to be playing. They'll think they still want to play Premier League, i.e. Iwobi. Even though he's been one of their standout players this season, it's still not good enough.
How many of that Everton team get into anyone else's team in the Premier League?
No, you're not. I don't think you're talking.
So you go Pickford, you go Connor Cody.
Nope, I'm not taking. Nope.
Your man from Burnley, who they brought in, who went down with Burnley.
Can you imagine if Everton go down while they're announcing their new ground? So they've got this fantastic stadium being built. Big up the Scouse lads that broke in and gave us an official tour of the stadium. Can we get a little clip of that up?
Very cool. Cal is fucking cool. Teddy or syphilis. We won't tell anyone. Very cool.
Party power works.
Got a bit of time for that.
Made me laugh.
What I'm trying to say is, if they're in the Championship and they've got this new stadium, how on earth are they to drive the club forward? It's a real setback. I mean, of the highest caliber.
Listen, they're in the same position they was in last season. They're in a dogfight to stay in the league, and that's just it. And their whole club is relying on them staying in the league, mate. Not saying they're gonna fall apart, because they won't, but they would have to start from scratch.
You know what I do? If I was at Everton chairman right now, I'd pull Frank into the office. I'd thank him for his time, and I'd let him go, and I'd get straight on the phone to Sean Dyche.
Because I'd get Duncan myself. I'd get big Duncan.
But he ain't got that experience. I'd go straight to Sean Dyche, because I think Sean Dyche is an Everton man, because he'll get him playing 4-4-2, direct, high tempo, organised. He's got the experience of being in a relegation fight year after year with Burnley. Listen, he got Burnley into Europe. You know, I think Sean Dyche is probably one of the most underrated managers out there because he doesn't, you know, pass through the thirds like everybody else. Everyone thinks he's rubbish, but when Sean Dyche's teams are on it, they are good to watch. Two front men, direct crosses into the box. I think that is a blueprint of Everton. When I think of Everton, I think 4-4-2, big man, little man up top, dogs of war in midfield, you know, flying wingers, balls in the box. And I think Sean Dyche brings that. I think he's got the blueprint to be a really good Everton manager.
The problem he's got is his name is Sean Dyche, not Sean Dyche.
Yeah, 100%.
General problem he has. And coming from Burnley, it's not the most fashionable of teams. No disrespect to Burnley, I love you guys, but you know what I'm trying to get at.
He's finished. He's finished. He was a great manager. He's gone. He's gone.
Doesn't have that aura or that prestige that, say, someone like Lampard's got, which is wrong. It's wrong to judge football like that. 90, what's your take?
It's the same with Chelsea. I think they've got a way of playing, and that's just the way the club are, the way they're playing. Curtis said the same thing. You know, they had Ballack, Essien, Lampard, Drogba, then they had Robin, Iron Robin or someone on the wing, and that one flying down the wing, and they was getting in crosses. Drogba was nutting them in. If he weren't nutting them in, Lampard was coming and tucking them in. It's the same with Everton. Their actual history, you know, that's them. They need to do the 4-4-2, big Calvert-Lewin up top. Yeah, get someone off him, bouncing off him like Tony Cottee did back in the day. Yeah, get wingers down the wing, get the balls in the box. Yeah, get two sitting midfield players who can just hold and just rat about. Yeah, get the defense, make sure they're, you know, everything is just cleared. Don't worry about it. Calvert-Lewin, when you clear it, he will flick it on. The little man will get behind. That's how they need to go. It's the same. Some clubs have structure. Some clubs can like evolve and turn into next things and do whatever. But some clubs need to just do what they've been doing.
You know what you just explained there, 90? The Everton team of the 80s. That was them.
Yeah.
You know, that 4-4-2, relentless. Goodison Park is a hard place to go. You know, Everton have to play fast tempo, in your face, crash bang wallop, balls in the box, set pieces, you know, big dunk, leaving elbows on people.
I've watched them a couple of times this season, and you see when they're on the front foot, not bad to watch.
And the fans are on it as well.
I'm telling you, mate, the fans are just on it. Like,
did you see that clip of the Scouse fans saying about his number 9 wearing knickers and bras?
Yeah, I see it, yeah.
It's gone absolutely viral.
Can we get that up?
He's a 20-year-old fucking kid, and you just give him hell. You expect him to fucking, jump through hoops and shit through miracles and all that, keeper.
He dyes his hair blonde as if he's fucking...
Listen, before you start, shut up a minute, Billy. You're going on about Anthony Gordon. Our fucking number 9 wears knickers and bras. So dyeing his hair, right? He can dye his hair for all he cares. I don't give a shit about that. Our number 9 wears knickers and fucking bras, right? Now let me tell you this. Dixie Dean didn't do it. Bob Latchford didn't do it. Andy Gray didn't do it. Graham Sharp didn't do it. Duncan Ferguson didn't do it. Lad, why is he doing it, the fucking swat?
They're not happy, are they? Let's be brutally honest. They're proud fans, and they're not happy with what's going on with the way the club are performing and the way the players are carrying themselves off. They're not having it, are they?
But I think a lot of clubs have gone the same way as Everton, and they've lost identity about what they are. And I think a lot of that comes from foreign managers coming in year after year after year who don't understand the philosophy or the infrastructure of a football club. You know, Everton are muck and nettles, meat and 2 veg, a proper football club. You know, if you're a manager going into Everton, it's about that blood and thunder, and I don't think they've kind of got that since they had David Moyes. And when David Moyes was there, what formation did he play? 4-4-2. They had Cahill in midfield, Ferguson up top. They had Stubbs at centre half. You know, they were horrible. You know, they played very direct. Again, got into the Champions League one year. You know, so that is Everton's identity. And then they went from him to your man who couldn't get a tune out of Belgium. I can't remember his name. To somebody else, to Ancelotti. They've been all over the place, Everton. They need to get back to Sean Dyche. 4-4-2. Let's have it.
I'm agreeing with the Woodchuck on this. The way he's explained it, I'm surprised that Everton haven't realised this themselves, to be honest. Because if we can see
it, you get caught up within everything that's going on around you, the cities, the Arsenals, the way everybody's playing, and you want to play the same way, and fans get caught up in it. So chairmans and directors and scouts and chief scout or whoever, they get caught up in it as well. But this is what I'm trying to say. They need to stick to the structure, the bone line of what Everton are. And Everton are 4-4-2 in your face, yeah? And just on it constantly. Their fans are the fucking 12th man, yeah? And they're just on you constantly. Long balls in the box, over the top wingers, slicing them into the box. Calvin Lewin should be in there. And I know he's been injured and stuff, and you can't help being injured. No one wants to be injured. That wouldn't have helped. That wouldn't have helped at all. But, like Kirsty's saying, they need to get back to the roots of Everton Football Club.
Okay, let's go to some world football news. I'd like to say I've got a nice jingle for it. World football news, but I haven't, so I'm just going to play that from now on. The Cameroon under-17 national team. 21 out of the 30 players have been suspended for age or identity misappropriation, however you want to word that. They're suggesting and surmising that 21 players out of the 30-man squad is over the age of 17. When you word it like that, it's quite an impact. Like we've all played for teams that may have one ringer. Let's be brutally honest. We've seen lads turn up who may not be registered here and there. When you got 21 out of 30, 21 players. Can we get a picture up of some of these Cameroonian players, please?
One of them's got 4 kids.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Mate, there's my man. Okay, I'm not Columbo. I am nowhere near a detective. But does my man look 17 to you? Right. Come on.
It's a hard one, isn't it? Because surely to be selected in the first place, there must be some sort of identification you have to.
Yeah, but this is the problem they're saying that a lot of the paperwork and birth certificates has been, falsified. It's been falsified. Let's have it brutally honest. It's been a problem and a rumour that's plagued African football for many, many years.
You're not going on like this is anything new.
It's not new. But what I'm trying to say is, Knighty and Woodhouse, they look younger than some of these players in this Cameroonian under-17 team.
Nope.
I'm being brutally honest here. Let's get him up again. I want the viewers to see it. How can you, as a manager and as a federation, okay, how can you be responsible and let this happen? What is going on? Why are Cameroonian under-17 players, genuine players, not getting an opportunity? And my man, who looks 37, okay, why is he playing at centre-half? Explain to me, break it down. What's your take on it? I'm going to go straight to 90 on this.
But you're going on like it's anything new. They've been doing this. But you probably find some of the top end African players now probably ain't got their right birthday. You probably find that now. It's been happening before us.
Yeah. Remember Daniel Amakachi was 26 for like 10 years. Remember Daniel Amakachi?
Taribo West was 29 when he was available on a free transfer. Listen, I've got no problem. Listen, lads, I've got no problem with individuals saying whatever age they want to be, and if they're getting signed to a Premier League or League One club, I've not got a problem with that. But when you're playing under-17s football and you are cheating other lads out of their positions in the team, and you are cheating other African nations out of results and potential stardom for their boys, that's where I've got a problem with it.
To be fair, 90's right. There's no point beating around the bush. Africa have been moving differently for years. For years. This isn't a proper Africa, but these guys are moving different, and they have been since I've been alive. So it doesn't
Yeah.
surprise me that they've just been caught. Really, that's all.
You probably find Essien probably ain't the age that they're saying he is.
Allegedly.
You probably find Eto. Eto ain't probably the age that they say they are. Like all of these players, like, do you know what I mean? I remember being in primary school, and a primary school new brother coming to school, and he said he was 8, and I was like, 8, cause you look like you've been shaving. You ain't 8.
No, it's funny you mentioned that. We had a lad come to our school called Frederick, and I do see him around now and again. He looked my dad's age at 15. I'm being brutally honest. He had a full-on beard at 14, 15. He looked like a fully grown man. I'm not disrespecting it. It's factual.
We had a guy in our school, used to live around the corner from me. Our good friend's name, Rob Roundtree, he's called. And Rob was like, he's 6'2" now. He was 6'2" when he was like 12. Like younger. And he used to play in our rugby team all the time. And the tactics were basically pass it to him and he just run through everyone.
Run.
His body's everywhere. And everyone afterwards like, there's no way he's 12. There's no way he's 12.
They've been doing it for years, mate.
It's all right. Say you're an African footballer. You miss your chance. You're 28. Okay. You've got a chance to go to Italy, Spain, England and get a chance. You do what you want to do. I ain't got a problem with you. You're not my issue. The problem I've got is when you're cheating children. The problem I've got is when you're stopping genuine Cameroon youth players from getting a chance at being a professional footballer.
But again,
the severity of it and why people aren't more angry about it. I genuinely can't.
No, but I understand it. You know these places you're talking about, Cameroon. Let's use these for example. They live in some of the worst poverty you can ever imagine. So by saying you're 17 when really you might be 28, that can then open a door for you to go and live a life of luxury as a professional footballer. Someone sees you as a young, hot, up-and-coming talent. You then have the opportunity to change your whole family's life, your whole village's life. So I totally understand why people would do that. Listen,
you got to look. Sorry, go on.
If I had the opportunity and I was living in some of the situations that some of these Africans live in, and there was a chance and I seen a little opportunity or a loophole, mate, I am taking it. I understand it 100%. I don't condone it, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to look at the people that are letting this go.
Yes.
Like who are these people? Are they in FIFA? Are they like where are these people? Like why is this happening? Like this, you can tell if someone's 17 or if they're not 17. Now and again, you might get an older one that looks like, an actual 17-year-old that looks like massive and whatever. We've all seen that. But like you said, 21 out of 30. Like, come on. You have to look at these people are just, it's like the immigrants that jump on the boats and try and come over here and get a better life. Like they're just doing the same thing, and our government's letting it happen and them come over here, and the FIFA or whoever are co-signing it and saying, yeah, okay, he's 17, even though they know he's not 17. It's the same thing.
It's a good point. 21's not an accident, is it? 21 is someone's manufacturing that from above.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. And say, for instance, you've got a team of overage players and your under-17s team is winning all the tournaments. Well, that's where the benefit's going to be, isn't it? The manager's having success. The federation are having success. Players are then getting moved on to different nations. So they're having individual, like Curtis said, success. But it's
and they're seeing backhanders.
I find something very different from Taribo West lying about his age to sign for Bolton, allegedly, as opposed to these people going for the under-17s teams. It just leaves a bad taste.
You got to start somewhere, mate.
Yeah,
they probably found a loophole.
Football clubs look at you differently if you're 17 and you're flying, or you're 23 and you're flying.
I completely get that.
This is what I'm trying to say.
That's a few extra zeros on that contract.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the loophole they found. They found a loophole that, the younger you're saying you are, and if you're flying at that point, like Curtis is saying, and you get in, it's more backhanders for everybody else, as well as you with extra checks on a zero, extra zeros on a check and whatever. You know, all round it works for everybody. Do you know what I mean? So I say you're 17. Simple. Say you're 17.
21 players, don't I?
I know, man. I know it's shocking. I mean, I used to deal with it when we used to play like district league and stuff, and I was in Tower Hamlets where they, you know, it's multicultural and races and stuff and whatever, and you find just players
Did they not believe you were 12, 90?
Well, this is what I'm trying.
No way, he's 12.
This is what I'm trying to say.
No, he's playing 8 years up.
There's this little kid trying to play with us.
To be fair, I was playing. I was about 12, 13, and I was playing with the 16s. So, you know, I know like if you're younger and there's older players and stuff and whatever, but you know, like I said, they took a little gamble, mate. Found a loophole. Fair play to them.
21 of them is a manufactured effort from people within the federation. You can't squeeze 21 past. No. You know, you can get 1 or 2 in, but 21 is a manufactured effort for whatever they're trying to get out of it.
It's a movement. They'll probably start cracking down and finding all sorts now.
But then I'm questioning, follow the money, find the truth. Are people allegedly at the federation involved in the agency side of this business?
Stumbled onto a major company conspiracy, Mac. How about that for stress?
Is it viable for me to play these men? Because financially, when they get transferred to Italy, Spain, England, Belgium, France, Brazil, wherever the case may be, there's going to be a financial reward for that person involved. That's why. Follow the money.
I said backhanders. I said this already. Backhanders, mate.
I'm hoping someone smarter than me will be able to pick up where we're sort of left off on this speculation and follow it. Find the trail. Tell me. I want to know. It's bugging me.
For me on this one, like I said, I don't want to sound like I don't care about it, but for me, no one's been hurt.
Here we go, Seth.
No one's getting.
I disagree, brother Woodchuck. If it weren't under 17 football, I wouldn't disagree so badly.
People are just losing a few. People are just losing a little bit of money, but no blood's being shed. People are trying it. They're desperate. These people are desperate, man.
If your lad was 17 and he's going to get you lot out of the village, but he can't get in the damn squad because there's 35-year-olds all sitting in the squad, you'd think of it a lot differently. There's people out there that are being cheated because of these people's actions. People that haven't got the mouth to speak up. That's why I'm really pissed off about it, to be honest.
I hear you, but if technically if you're good enough,
but you're not in the category to be even recommended for that age. It's wrong.
Yeah, but if you're technically good enough,
but what I mean is, if you're more advanced, you're 28. Yeah, you're 28. You've got an unfair advantage on me as a 16 or 17-year-old. Whatever way you look at it. So now you're telling me not only have I got to be the best under 17 in the country to get selected, I've got to be the best under 28.
Only physically.
Potentially a Muhammad Ali for women's boxing.
They've got something over them. Only physically. In your mind, they ain't got anything over on them. If the 17-year-old is better than a 28-year-old, he ain't got nothing on him. It's only physically. It's only physically. And the game ain't that physical nowadays.
I guess that's what makes football beautiful. We've all got different takes and opinions on how we see things individually. And that's what I'm here to encourage. I'm not disrespecting 93's views. It is what it is. Okay, I want to go, quite finally, I want to go to that throwback country that is Italy. Samuel Umtiti suffers racist abuse from the travelling Lazio fans. The throwback country that is Italy, they're in the 1980s when it comes to racism. It's very, very prevalent there. It's something that hasn't changed. It hasn't gone away. The black players are dealing with it every single day, okay? How and why are these things still allowed to happen? Why is the Lecce player, Samuel Umtiti, suffering racial abuse against the travelling Lazio fans, and it's not a bigger story? What's your take on it, Curtis, with us?
I've got a couple of Italian friends. I speak to them about this all the time. It's just a big cultural thing. It is, Italian people look at black people as inferior people. That's just what it is in the Italian culture. And so I've got two really good friends that are Italian, and they tell me this. It just is what it is. It ain't changed anytime soon, is it? So I don't really know what the answer is. But I tell you what the answer isn't: taking a knee and wearing t-shirts and all that nonsense.
Shit, here we go again.
That's definitely not the answer. But yeah, I don't know what the answer is. I suppose you change society, you get it out of society, then you'll get it out of football. But for me, it's not even a topic worthy of talking about anymore, unless I keep coming back to this, unless people are willing to do something serious and make a serious stand, then everyone's just giving it lip service.
If we're not willing to talk about it and we're not willing to highlight the plight of some of these players on Not For The News, who's going to talk about it? I'm hearing nothing on these stories. And for me personally, I'm not accepting that. What's your take on it, Mark?
Yeah. It's shit, innit? It's shit. And you know the worst thing is, it's been like that since I've been alive watching football. It's been like that since I've been alive. I played for England under 18s and had the same thing. And all kicked off. The game's been stopped. Everything. I've had exactly the same thing. Just like, but these are players doing monkey chants on the pitch. I think one done one to Jay Bothroyd or someone. And then it all started kicking off. All the bench started coming on the pitch and stuff and whatever. And it all kicked off and the game got suspended and stuff. You know, it's just in them, mate. You know, their dads, they see their dads doing it as kids. They grow up, they do it as kids. Their kids see them doing it. They grow up, they do it. And it's just a never-ending cycle.
But you know what, Ron?
I think, like...
Sorry, my thing on it is, at some stage, people have to take, and it's not responsibility, it's not their fault for obviously being racially abused, but at some stage, hopefully in my lifetime, someone will take serious action that leads to serious measures being taken. So it's been happening in your lifetime, it was happening in the era before, it's happening in this era, and still nobody has got the balls to actually make a move of something significant. Yeah. So, you know, this sounds terrible, but if you ain't willing to do anything about it, then I ain't got no sympathy for anyone.
We spoke about this before.
Yeah,
go on, eh?
If it happens to you on the pitch, you walk off, you cause a scene, you make sure the game don't get played, you explain why, you know, you make sure it gets aired. You know, by stopping the game would actually have to get aired. Like, the news would have to spread. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? These players are just putting up their hand or throwing the banana back or putting up both hands and going, you know, what the noises they're making or whatever, this, that, and the other. Like Curtis is saying, take a stand. Because it's quite obviously the Italian officials and people behind the scenes are not willing to take a stand. They're not really asked, it don't seem like. So the players...
It's desensitized out there, isn't it? It's not seen as how it's seen in other countries.
It's a throwback country. As much as you've got all the, you know, Giorgio Armani and the Versace and the this and the Gucci and all that, and they're very, like, you know, fashion-wise to date up with this era or whatever. When it comes to society and stuff, they're in the flipping 70s and 60s.
Listen, Italians are racist.
Yeah, they are.
That's how it is. Obviously, not every Italian, but I'm saying as a whole, they are living in a racist society. That's just
it's like the Argentinians as well. Like, people know. Like, do you know what I mean? I had a lot of my friends going, "How do you want Argentina to win the World Cup?" Blah blah blah. We know they're racist. It's not all of them are, but the baseline of their country is racist. It's like Italy. It's the same thing.
One of the heroes that we spoke about on the show is Mario Balotelli. I think by understanding racism, Italy and its culture, it kind of shows you a little bit why Mario is the way he is. Imagine how much mental health problems that poor lads had to go through being the best player, but best black Italian player in every team he's played for.
Well, we only know him when he came onto the scenes in England at, 22, 23. So imagine what his life was like as a 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old.
Yeah.
Must have been tough for him. And you know, to some respect, everybody becomes a product of their environment to some degree. So what he had to go through as a kid will have shaped his personality as a man. And that's why he a big chunk of it will be why he is how he is.
How he is, yeah.
Lads, we saw in the news today, Chelsea and Italian legend Gianluca Vialli sadly passed away at the age of 58. Such a huge loss. I just want to pay our deepest condolences to the Vialli family and in turn to, I guess, Chelsea, all the Chelsea fans. He's an icon to a lot of people. So we just wanted to pay our deepest respect. Nighty, I know you spent a bit of time around Gianluca. So I think it's only right to come to you to let you have a little word on it. What were your thoughts on Gianluca Vialli as a man and as a player?
I mean, he was just a good guy. Do you know what I mean? He was just a good guy. Just a good guy, mate. Just not like, no hassle. Do you know what I mean? No, not like some of the players that were around him and this, that, and the other. But, he had discipline about him. Like, do you know what I mean? He'll be in the changing room on time. He will, do you know what I mean? And even though he's the most established in the whole club, he will be doing the things that, you'll be learning as a youngster growing up. He was still doing them as an established international superstar. Like, and that's what I really got about him. Do you know what I mean? That's what I really, really got about him. And I remember one day he was on the treatment table and they said someone came in. I think it was Albert Ferrer that came in, the little right back. I don't know if you remember him from Barcelona.
Yeah, I remember him.
He came in and goes, move your car. Bantering him, like, move your car, blah, blah, blah. Otherwise, I'll blow it up. Or I'll run it into the, the old harlot. And it was like off the back of Heathrow Airport. I'll run it on the runway or whatever. And then Gianluca just pulled out his wallet, threw it down. And it was one of them that came down. And it came down his arm. And he had like gold card, platinum. He said, don't worry, I'll just buy a new one if you do it like that. I'll never forget that about him. Like, he was unbelievable, mate, honestly. He was
How good a player was he in training and that? How good was he?
Yeah, he was proper, mate. He didn't, like, what I used to watch him and do, because I was young, probably just schoolboyish when he was playing and managing and whatever. But what I used to watch him do is he used to do the basic things excellently.
Yeah.
So, like, just build up play. He didn't have no tricks or he didn't have a great turn of pace or whatever. But, movement. You could see he'd been practicing striking off the ball, where his body is, where he's holding off players and where the ball is and where they can't touch it. And he can do kind of what he wants with it. He was like a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then there was a level up from him, which was Zola, but you could see it was similarities. They was coming from the same era. Like, they was always in on time. It wasn't a time where, it was like a Winston Bogard and he was turning up at flipping 45 minutes late. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't that. They was in the gym. This was when gyms weren't even a thing, Curtis.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And they're doing planks. They're standing down doing planks, and you're just looking at them thinking, like, what are you doing? Like, because this is the first like flood of foreign players that's coming in, and they're bringing all their philosophies and their ways and it just changed like everything, really. Do you know what I mean? But like I was saying on Gianluca, he was a great guy, very softly spoken as well. Like, do you know what I mean? Not like some of them in that changing room or in that club, but him, he was a very, very kind guy, very like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But very strong as well. Jesus Christ.
He always came across as like really just a classy guy.
Yeah.
Just
even the way he dressed. Even the way he dressed, like he had a chauffeur that brought him to the to training every single day and wait for him after. Like, do you know what I mean? He had everything, like, just
proper.
He when he would like wore suits and stuff or trousers and a jumper and a shirt underneath or whatever, he'll have the socks that will go right up to the knees. Like, do you know what I mean? and then put his things on after. Like he was that kind of guy. Like very, 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 very professional guy, man. Very, very professional.
Yeah. Gentlemen, I just want to say thank you very much, as always, for your honest thoughts, views, companies. Love and respect to both of you and your families. And I will catch you for the next episode of Not For The News here on Pitch Football. Just a quick one. If you are watching this on our YouTube channel, please download our Pitch Footy app for merch giveaways, competitions, fan debates, tickets, you name it, we got it. And make sure you check out the adult version of the Spotify podcast for when you're on the road and you want to have a little listen to what we're up to.
Also, are we going to have a live one of these coming soon where we can sit down and have a few beers and that?
I'd love that. Bar the beer part, because I'm completely having a dry 2023. I will have a non-alcoholic beer.
We'll drink yours. Don't worry.
We should get somewhere and get like 10 people in the audience or something like that and make a bit of a night of it.
All right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pitch Brother Woodshack's idea, as I always do. I take his ideas and run with them. I'm going to pitch it to the powers that be and see if we can get a special Not For The News in person and maybe get some of the people that watch a show, obviously if they want to come down and spend some time watching us record it live. I think that would be fantastic. Good idea. Good idea.
I agree.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. I will catch you on the next episode. Goodbye.